Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning for those of you on the West Coast. We're going to get started in just a few seconds here. Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, please feel free to enter them at any time during the presentation using the Q&A feature. For those of you watching on YouTube, you will not be able to do this, but you can always give us a call here at InterExchange. All right, well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Let's get started. This will be a very brief overview of the InterExchange Au Pair Abroad programs. We hope that you have questions during the presentation because we'll definitely get around to answering those. My name is James Bridge. I'm the program manager here at InterExchange Working Abroad. We offer Teach English, Work and Travel, Au Pair, Volunteer, Learn Spanish, and online Teach English as a Foreign Language certification programs. So obviously a very wide range of options, and for those of you with a specific interest in early childhood development or childcare or potentially teaching for children, the Au Pair program could be a great option. So the essence of the presentation will really be asking how you can combine your love of travel with your desire to work and care for children. Quite obviously, the answer to that question is to become an au pair. InterExchange provides support during your au pair experience, and of course, we organize a host family for you in the country of your choice. And we'll talk a little bit about where we offer programs momentarily. Being an au pair involves living with a host family. I mean, that's really the heart of the program, is your time with your host family. You're working for the family as a child care provider, which means taking care of the kids, getting them to school, getting them ready, doing activities, maybe doing a little tutoring or homework help, and cleaning up after them, getting meals ready, getting them ready for bed. Anything that could be involved in childcare, really. And not only that, but you're living with this family as well. So this program is really geared towards people who want that type of experience. And you're going to gain a lot of experience. Maybe you've babysitted before. Hopefully you've done something a little bit more formal in childcare. But the Au Pair program is potentially 1 year of your life. So you're going to get a lot of early childhood ed or child care experience in general. We do also have shorter term programs. The idea is that you'll be able to meet a lot of other people. We will do our best to connect you with other au pairs. That starts with joining our Facebook group for the country that you're in, and our partners abroad will also invite you to do the same, as well as invite you to any social events that they have happening. Au pairs are expected that they're going to explore and travel during their time off as well. So where do we have placements? Australia with 6-month placements throughout the year. France, we have placements around Paris, generally not exactly in the city, since most of the families that are welcoming an au pair into their home live in suburbs, but within reasonable public transportation from Paris, as well as in the south. of France. And we have long-term and short-term placements for France. For Germany, it's a year or an academic year, and we do have placements throughout the whole country, with the Netherlands as well. Our Italy program is just for those seeking a 2 or 3 month experience, and placements are throughout the whole year. For participants in New Zealand, generally speaking, host families are looking for somebody to commit for anywhere between around 9 and 12 months. And we do have specific start dates all year round, but there are dates every few weeks where you will start a program with an orientation in Auckland. And finally, our Spain program is also a short-term experience, and most of the placements are going to be in or around Madrid. So what are the general requirements? For InterExchange, we support U.S. international exchanges. We do have au pairs coming into the U.S. who are non-U.S. citizens, but for our programs outside of the United States, these are geared towards people who are living here and are a U.S. citizen. You need to have at least a high school diploma, a minimum of 200 hours of childcare experience, and most people are going to have more than that, but that is the bare minimum, and we will ask for references that can attest to that as well, and of course a clear criminal background. You also, of course, have to be really excited about the idea of living with a host family. Typical responsibilities, we did touch on this a little earlier, dropping the children off and picking them up from school or after school activities, taking them to lessons, playgroups, parks, helping with homework maybe. A lot of the times the families are really excited to have just the extra native English exposure. So maybe spending a little bit of time tutoring English. And tidying up chores as they relate to the children. You're not meant to be a housekeeper, but you are a resident in this home. So as with living anywhere, it's respectful to keep your own areas clean. And because you are a child care provider in this home, helping with any kinds of chores as it relates to the kids. So meals, cleaning up, things like that. You may need to stay home if the child happens to be sick for a more extended time or if they're on vacation. So being somewhat adaptable to the schedule of your host family is important. You will have a specific schedule that you work out with that family prior to departing. But the program's based on a relationship, and sometimes schedules change. So while adhering to a certain amount of hours, some amount of flexibility is definitely demanded for this type of program. A few images of some of the host families that we've had throughout Europe and Australia and New Zealand. And they know that you're hoping to try something new, and they're really excited to help provide that exposure with a local lens into a new place for you. Our partners, or our international cooperators in each country, they are the ones that are screening the host families for safety. Similarly to how we accept application documents from all of you. And these would include references, interviews, paying program fees. As for learning another language before you go, not always required. It is required in some cases. Of course, it's not applicable in Australia and New Zealand, assuming English is your first language. But for other countries, your experience is really going to be a lot better if you speak a little bit of the local language. So you'll want to learn some if you haven't before traveling, and you'll be glad that you did. Generally, though, there will be a host family parent who speaks English well. There are variations to this. Every family is going to be a little bit different. This is kind of an average There can be some variation between the ages and number of kids. Some families might just have one. Some might have 4 or 5. Of course, if they have that many, you wouldn't be expected to be minding all of them at the same time. But having around 2 or 3 is kind of average, and generally a bit younger as opposed to being teenagers. Usually in suburbs, you're not often going to find a host family that's right in downtown Sydney or Paris or Madrid. Usually they're going to be in the suburbs. Is there anything that Bill Murray can help with? So some of the support that we offer at InterExchange includes making your transition smoother. In many cases, you're going to have to obtain a visa before you go in order to legally be an au pair in these countries. That might involve going to a consulate in the US with an appointment scheduled in advance. That does apply for France. For Australia and New Zealand, it's as simple as an online visa process, but we will help no matter what with that process and providing information. And we'll make sure that you know exactly how to speak with your host family and determine what family might be a good match for you, because we are highly involved in that matching process as well. If you have questions and concerns during your program, our partners on the ground in that country have an emergency number for you and a non-emergency number. They will organize social events from time to time where you can get to know other au pairs. And of course, you'll join our Facebook group and those of our partners if they have them. We do expect that you are in touch with our partners overseas when you get there as soon as any concern arises. And challenges will come up with every experience abroad, especially if you're going for a year. And that's life. We don't expect anything too complicated to come up that you can't get through, but sometimes it's just a matter of, how do I approach my family about this? Or I thought my schedule was this, and you just want a second set of eyes or somebody else to talk to. And it's good to do that right away if some kind of challenge does come up, and there is support for you in the country. In order to get the process started, you're going to have to create an online application where you'll fill out a few basic forms, upload a couple of documents. And once you do that, we will contact you for an interview and to talk about what the next steps would be. app.interexchange.org is where you'll create an application. And you will be able to navigate through everything really kind of online. And we do have a short video of the application process. So yeah, we'll take a minute and take a look at this. So this is our website. This is kind of the index page that lists all of our au pair, work and travel, teach programs, and everything else. You, of course, can navigate to any country or program from the top menu of our website, too. So if you wanted to do Au Pair Spain, we would encourage you to read everything in advance. There's a ton of information about how the matching process works, what happens when you arrive, what you need to apply. And you'll use the blue sign up buttons, enter your email address, and then you'll be in our application system. Again, always happy to help along the way. Everybody has questions during this process, and we're in touch with everybody from the moment that you inquire. Once again, I'd encourage you to chime in with any questions if you have them. Melissa asks, can you talk a little bit more about the stipend that's provided? So, of course, you're going to be earning some kind of a stipend on this program. This isn't meant as a full-time job with a salary that will allow you to cover your loans back home and every cost that you might have in the country. But your host families are providing all of your meals. In some cases, they're providing some kind of a Metro card or access to their car, and they will provide a stipend. And the specific stipend will depend on the country and program that you're going to. Could be $100, could be $150 a week, could be a little more. Again, it depends on the country, the economy, the regulations for that place. But again, you will have a private room and meals, so you can keep your costs very low in the country. But you'll probably want to do some travels. You do want an emergency fund, so have some savings before you go. How do au pairs usually get around while they're on the program? Again, the host families that you'll be with, in many cases, they hope that you can drive the kids to activities and school and things sometimes. So hopefully you have a driver's license and can do that, in which case you would have access to a family car. So you might be able to use that for personal errands and things. In some countries, you might be going to a language class. If you're taking a personal trip, your host family's in Madrid, you want to visit friends in Barcelona, then that's really on you. You would organize for a train or a bus or however it is that you want to get there, and that would be at your own expense. But generally, public transportation is good where the placements are. They're usually in suburbs with a good system to get in and out of cities and regionally as well. We look forward to being in touch. If anybody does have other questions, feel free to give us a call at 1-800-597-3675. Workabroad@interexchange.org is our email address. Always happy to be in touch. If you had any technical difficulties with this presentation, let us know so that we can improve upon that. If there's anything that was not addressed, definitely let us know. We're always happy to help, and we do expect to hear from you soon. So thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you.